Good morning, welcome back. It's early enough on Sunday morning now and brain function is a bit low. Trying to decide what I can do. My plan is probably to cut the plywood for the floor and maybe do a little bit of interior messing about. Meant to go get an O-ring to put that water pump bracket back on the engine yesterday, but didn't get to it. So can't do anything about that till tomorrow now. Still didn't get the wiring schematic for the ECU, and actually haven't heard back from the ECU guy yet. So I need that as well. Also, I did get a sump on eBay, and he hasn't got back to me yet about the postage. I tried to cancel that one because another one became available that had an oil pickup, but I didn't get the one with the oil pickup, and I got the one that didn't have it. So I've got to figure out where I can get an oil pickup as well. I don't want to go taking the sump off until I've got another one to at least put on there temporarily, to have a look at the oil pickup that's in there. What else? Yeah, I suppose I could look at some fan wiring and stuff if I could get my head around that today. Yeah, we'll see how we go and yeah, do something. Right, I got it vacuumed out. When I took up the floor there was just lots of little lats like that filling those, so I've just put them back kind of the way they were. Mainly in the areas where it gets a bit of load, you know, where you're walking forward and back and in and out the door and under the water tank. So got a floor cut there, I'll stick that in. Okay, so I got a floor cut and put in. That's the full width of a sheet that way. I wrote down the sizes, I actually thought it was full that way and went under the tank, but then I had to cut another piece to go back under the tank. I've just stuck that upright in there in front of the water tank at the moment. I might go get some belts from a belt sander tomorrow. I tried scraping that stuff off with a big scraper, but it's tough old gluey crap, so I'll get some belt sander belts and take that off. And I can't put that in yet anyway, because I need to put the side panel back in, and before the side panel goes in I need to go get insulation. So yeah, I'm gonna pull out the fridge unit and stuff there now and have a look and see what I need to do to those before they go in. I know I was tempted to make new side upright panels for them, just because there was a bit of kind of old that white kind of mould on the side of them. I didn't particularly like leaving it there. And the other thing I need to do is I have a can of spray adhesive there, and I'm just going to stick those back up. I cut them along lengthways, so they should just glue in, and it looks pretty much invisible once you close the join. Finally went cleaning glass. That's a lot better. Just give it all a scrape around with a Stanley blade, take any little bits of sparks and stuff that were on it off, and yeah, bit of window lean, etc. But makes a nice difference to be able to see through it. Now I've gone over that with that matte black engine enamel just to tidy it up a little bit. I will do the valve cover separately. I'm going to stick on some of those manifolds now on the turbo and stuff back on. Belts. These aluminium pieces, they've stayed really nice. I'm happy with those. Put the thermostat in the other day. Oh yeah, it's sitting better now. I didn't like the way that O-ring was sitting out, and you don't like over tightening these plastic things because they have a real tendency to crack. Oh, and I also have a new water pump in the house. I must bring that out and fit that into that as well. And I'm going to mount this back on, and I've decided to where because this won't have a powered steering pump on it anymore, what I might do is buy a tensioner and make it fit where that powered steering pump was, so that we can just keep the belts and things as they were. Another thing I have to go and get is one of these O-rings where it sits against the block. I have some of these ones, but they're just too small, so I need to go and get a fresh one of those before I can put that back on as well. So there we have our headset and new oil pan gasket from Brickworks. It's not a complete headset, obviously there's no head gasket there, but yeah, I decided I didn't want that anyway, and there's valve stem seals and stuff in there as well, but really I just want the exhaust and intake gaskets and a new valve cover gasket. Running around doing various little bits and pieces, water pump on there, it didn't come with a pulley, so just cleaned that one up and given it a coat of paint. Got those manifolds back on and tightened up. Turbo's loose, so I can move around what I need to afterwards. What else? Yeah, all this crap needs replacing. I don't want to take it off though, because I just forget where it goes. Messing around with various little bits and playing with my new toy, just doing a few little jobs on that. So, I'm going to sort these grubby seats out because I'd like to put them back in. Just going to hit them with the power washer, scrub them down with a bit of washing powder, and give them another power wash rinse them. And then, I know, they'll take a few days to dry, but they do come up good when you do that. It's the day after now, just letting them dry out there in the sun, let the most of the water drain out of them. They'll take a long time to dry out from that. What I'll do is once they're dry enough, I'll put them into the van and put a dehumidifier in there and close it in there for a while. Yeah, went and got a gallon of wax oil earlier, and some things like self-tappers and those kind of bits and pieces. So I need to wax oil inside all these panels so that I can put the side insulation in and the side panels back in so that I can continue fitting interior parts. So I'll pull that stuff out of there now and wax oil inside all those. I don't have one of those wax oil applicators anymore, so what I think I'll do is I'll stick it into a Scotch can and spray it in with the Scotch gun. It's a fairly vast improvement. I know a lot of people upgrade them to something a bit nicer, but I kind of like the old Volkswagen seats. Same with the old steering wheels and stuff, I don't know, I just kind of, I like them. So until they wear out a little bit more, we'll keep them. And yeah, even things like the floor change, I'm kind of anxious to keep the floor shift, but yeah, I'll see. I'm going to do my own thinking on that gear change mechanism, but we'll see. Stuck that rubber back in yesterday as well, so I just glued it in, and I just used the Tech 7 because I had some brand little bead all the way around and stuck it in, and just shut the door then. So that's all those back on, which I'm not sorry about. Yeah. I done some wax oiling yesterday as well. Just put it into a Scotch can. Give a coating around in there, all the way around, and up there as well, because that's as much of an issue with stuff up there. In along the top of all there, and a little bit up the sides over there. So that's kind of dry now and ready for insulating. So once I have the insulation in, then I can put these side panels back in, which will allow me to carry on more at the interior. So it's just a process of having all the right bits and pieces at the right time at the moment. That aluminium bracket, by the way, I'm really pleased with that. That looks good. Just removed that old pilot bearing race. I thought it was mounted in the flywheel, so I took the flywheel off. But how I ended up getting it out was found the nut that was just the right size. One side was chipped, so that fits in there. And then I was able to just threaded that into that nut, and it pulled the race out just like that. just tap in a new one and stick that flywheel back on. They must just find the torque settings for the flywheel bolts. Put the valve cover back on and just sprayed it with a bit of that old tough paint stuff. Just realised I've broken, that's got hit at some stage and broken the thing off the actuator's turbo, so I need a new actuator. Stuck the clutch back on. Good bit of meat on that clutch. I think I'd love to change it, but you know, it's 200 quid. That isn't necessity right now. It just means a day in the winter or whatever, putting a new one in if I want to. If they were a bit cheaper, I'd just change it now, but I think we'll run with it for a little while. Clutch release bearing back in there and a few bits like that. Change the oil filter. I have a sump and an oil pickup on their way, which is good. Still haven't heard anything back about the ECU, which is a bit annoying because I want to start getting that wired up and things like that. I need to cut 2 plates to blank off the EGR valve outlets. And what else did I do? We'll have one more quick look at those seats before I throw them into the van. As for the run of this belt, I've just hacked the viscous fan off of there. I must have a look at the different ways of doing this, but my plan at the moment is to get another tensioner, possibly one of these, or I had a Mondeo one around the place, and just mount it where the powered steering pump was so I can use the same belt run. But these are all just idlers now really, so you'd have 3 idlers for 3 driven things, but we'll figure it out. I'll have a look through at the different ways of setting that up that people have done and decide from there. Right, so my adapter plate came, so I've been messing around with that all day, just getting that set up. Gonna have a go now with getting this gearbox stuck on there. You can see the recess side of that plate faces the gearbox side, just so you know, and the starter motor is roughly in the original location. Yeah, just a bit of flapping about, figuring it out. Also, there is an oil filter they give you the number for that is a skinnier one than this that will fit in there, but I've just ground the edge off that plate to give that bit of clearance, so the standard filter will still fit on there. So okay, running the alternator that way, that should work as well. I must have a look at it when it goes into the van. Gearbox is mounted on there, and I just laid the engine over in its position for now to have a look at the angle of the turbo and stuff, but I need to order a new turbo actuator because that little thing got broken off, so that's off of there. Just get new vacuum pipes for all that stuff as well. Sump and oil pickup should be on their way, so I can get those off. They'll hopefully arrive early in the week and we can get on with that. But yeah, at least there's something done with it anyway. Okay, I'm in no form for this bloody thing today, but just went and got a roll of just that earth wool. It's recycled stuff. There's better things out there to put in there, but it's at least cleaner than what is in there originally. It's not dusty, it's not horrible, it's fireproof, it's all that stuff. So just stuffing a bit of that in there, and now I can get the side panel back in, and this is just sanded that panel down with the belt sander as well, so get it nice and finished. And I've also, not nice and finished, just smooth enough that I can put new carpet over it. And I was screwing this up from underneath with just little self-tappers, which I'll seam seal over afterwards. Originally this floor was just plas loaded straight down through the bloody floor, so there was loads of grip fast nails sticking out the bottom of the floor, surrounded by a circle of rust on each one where it had busted out the underseal. So I'm going to improve on that. I've cut all those off and welded up all the little holes when I was welding. So yeah, that's all screwed on from underneath now. Gonna go find the side panel and get that put back in, and the one on the boot lid as well. Got that full up with stuff, so I'm gonna do that now too. A bit fresher about it today now. Just going around sealing up those joins and the rubber seals. So just using some of the black tiger seal that I had for a few other bits and pieces, and I've put in that side filler for the freshwater tank. Got that sealed in, and also found my Volkswagen badge, so just gave that a bit of a clean up with some silver wheel paint, because yeah, it was kind of tarnished and ruined. And inside I've been kind of messing about with the kitchen unit and stuff there, put a few of these little bits and pieces back in. All that stuff will need steam cleaning at the end, but that's alright. Yeah, I have to take that out again because the lat that attaches it to the side of the van is rotten, and I need to make a piece for that, but I just must mark the height that it needs to go in and put it back. The seats, I had a dehumidifier in here last night because the seats smell like a bit like a wet dog at the moment, but I'll dry them out properly now, they'll be alright. And I need to get, I've bolted this seat down, but this one is still loose because the little plastic guides that the pivot or the turntable sits on top of, two of them are missing. So if I bolt it down, I must just have a look and see can I get replacements for them, or else I'll I was thinking I could make some out of something like the top edge of a fish box, the kind of tough plastic, and just they're just little angle pieces that sit in the little track where the two plates come together. So I'm in a bit of a low ebb with this week. Just keep getting stuck for things that I need, and it's a bit of a nuisance then waiting for things to come. But yeah, it's little by little it's coming together. This is normally my really busy time of year. A little bit quieter this year, but at the same time I have to work more and more away from this through July and August, as is the case. So yeah, I still seem to be getting enough days to achieve a little bit anyway. So hopefully with some engine parts next week we'll actually make a stab at getting this engine into the engine compartments and things like that. The interior will come together. Just have to mess around with it a bit more. I want to get the fridge cleaned up there and check that out as well. A few things like that, but yeah, gradually it'll come together. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget the like button as well if you don't mind. That'd be great. And you can follow us on Instagram at Colin the T25 Project, or Colin the T25, I think it is. So yeah, thanks, and I will see you next time. Cheers.